I'm Helen Hansen, you're with the Longevity Channel, and today we are chatting with Hamish. Hamish is going to be sharing with us his struggle with alcohol addiction. Welcome, Hamish. Really appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for asking me to join you guys today.
So tell me, how long has it been since you have had any amount of alcohol? How long have you been clean? How long have you been sober?
I've been clean and sober just short of 2.5 years now. Yeah, it all came to a head just before Christmas 2018. I realised something had to change. And then since then, I've never really looked back. I've been very lucky, very careful, and yeah, clean and sober for today.
So what was that turning point for you? Was it something dramatic? Did life force you to make a change?
I've often wondered about this. It was a moment of clarity, but going back before then, I'd just been drinking because I didn't know how to cope with what was going on. I wasn't happy in my relationship. I wasn't happy at work. I wasn't happy where I was living. And I was just angry. I was angry. I was ugly. I was resentful. I wasn't attentive. I wasn't communicating. And over time, I was aware of it. I'd be aware of it in the mornings and lunchtime. By the afternoon, I didn't care. Pop the wine open up and start again. And then at some stage, I just realized that this wasn't working. I had to do something about it. I had to stop, self-destruct. Otherwise, I would have damaged myself, or I might have killed somebody or something like that, because I was going to the bottle store, buying alcohol, and then drinking a bottle of beer on the way home, driving home, which was stupid. Really, really stupid. And yeah, there was a moment of clarity where I thought, this is not good. This is really stupid. This is dangerous. And so I said, this is not going to work. And I talked to a friend, and within 2 weeks, I checked myself into a rehab.
Wow. Okay. So that sounded like it happened pretty quickly. When you say your moment of clarity, was that a single moment, or did you have moments building up to that where you were feeling, this isn't right, and then eventually you had that moment of clarity, or was that completely on its own?
There was a case every now and again I would realize that this is silly. You know, I would finish a shoot early so I could get to the bottle store, and I just thought, you know, I'm compromising my work, I'm compromising this, and then it was, I don't care. And then it was, this is really foolish. So it definitely was a moment like that where I thought something has to change. And yeah, something had to change. And it was that simple. It was a realization that if I wasn't going to make an effort, if I wasn't going to say, come on, guy, you've got to change your mind, you've got to change something, it could have been terrible. Yeah, who knows? I didn't get there, fortunately, but that's what it was. So yes, I did that. And yeah, everything started to change.
So before you tell us how everything started to change, can you just share how long were you an alcoholic for?
Difficult question. I mean, I started drinking 18, 19, like most people. I enjoyed it too much when they would come and go and things like that. But the last few years, it would have been every couple of days and every day, and then there'd be a few days off and a week off and then back on again. So looking back, obviously I've done a lot of looking back, certainly for the past 3 or 4 years leading up to when I checked myself into rehab, I was drinking 6 bottles of wine a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. Yeah, I was functioning fine. I wouldn't start until 5 in the evening, 6 in the evening, 7 in the evening. But I would wake up the following morning thinking, I don't remember going to bed. And that's not a good thing. It really isn't. So yeah, it was a good 4 or 5 years. It was very gradual. You know, it was a gradual decline, not up, but gradual. The wine levels went up and everything else went down. So yeah.
We're talking earlier, right in the beginning, about feeling angry. Would you say that was something that also accumulated over time, and then your response was to deal with it, or to suppress it rather, and not deal with it gradually. Were the two directly linked all the time?
Yes, I was struggling. I've had a good chance to look back, and I was struggling because I had a fantastic childhood. My dad was not around as much. He was busy making us a lovely home. So I would fight with him. I would fight for attention. He wasn't around. I didn't feel good, didn't feel worthy enough, and things like that. So there were issues like that. And I didn't want to let him down by doing this, that, and the other. And then latterly, my relationship with my wife wasn't good. And I didn't know how to communicate with her. I didn't know how to say to her, look, we've got problems. I didn't want to divorce her because of the shame, let my parents down, let my family down, let down her. So it was a case of, I don't know what to do, I'll drink to numb it. And it worked. It numbed it. It completely, I didn't give a monkeys about anything. It numbed it, but I was angry. I was resentful. I was resentful what I was doing because I knew it wasn't sensible. I didn't know what to do. And it was a spiral. I was angry because I didn't know how to sort it out. I was resentful at my wife because it was all her fault, which is rubbish. She didn't say, Hamish, drink. I did that. She had nothing to do with that side of it. And so I was just angry at everybody. It was everybody else's fault. Everyone was to blame, when really I just needed to take ownership of it all and just say, hey, I can't do this. Confront my demons, confront that belief, and just say it's okay to not do what I was brought up to do. Pretty much as simple as that. But I didn't know how to do that, and I just numbed it all because I could. And it worked for a bit, and then obviously it didn't.
So then when you stopped cold turkey, it sounds like, what happened with those emotions, and how did you deal with them?
I cried for 3 weeks. I was in rehab over Christmas, and I cried for 3 weeks. Hey, Hamish, how you doing? It was like that every single session, every council session, every walk, every this, because I could start to feel. I'd go and see a sunset, I'd cry. I'd go and do this, I'd cry. It was phenomenal. It was bloody hard. It was really, really uncomfortable, and I hated it. But yeah, I did that. I basically started to feel again. I was in a safe space. The counsellors made sure I was in a safe space. They put me on antidepressants. They said, you need to stay here for 6 weeks, not 3, as was the standard in that centre. So I did that. So I had a bit more time there to resolve things. The collateral damage was, I said to my wife, we're not working anymore, so we split up. We changed. We'd grown apart. But I started feeling, and it's overwhelming. I still have bad days where I really can't cope, and I know exactly what I can do to stop it. So I have to choose not to drink, because I know that a glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine, problem solved, everything is baseline. But following day, all the regret, all the shame, day one, pride, and doesn't help, So yeah.
So what was the most challenging experience for you in the recovery process?
Realizing I was accountable. I blame my wife for everything. I blame my father-in-law for everything. I blame my clients for everything. I blamed everyone for everything. I blame God. I mean, he had more words thrown at him than many things. So I blamed everyone. And then I was told we had to do this thing called your addiction history, which basically you write down your addiction history. And they said, don't blame anyone. So the first 3, I was blaming everyone. Then I realized I can't blame people. And then I realized, or it was told to me that I can't blame people. Did my wife do this? Did my friends do this? Did circumstance? And nothing did. So I had to own that. And when I started to own it, just like, so what? I've done it. That's all in the past. And that was incredibly empowering. That was so empowering to say, yeah, I messed up. and now I'm not going to do it again. And by doing that and holding myself accountable every day, it became easier. It was no one's fault. It was my fault. I had to choose how to react, how to respond every day. And one thing I did learn is people are doing the best thing they can. When I learned that, my belief thought I didn't think everyone was, because I wasn't. And when I realized that that's true, everything changed. I couldn't blame anyone for anything. There was no point being resentful. It wasn't anybody else's fault. So that singular belief, change of belief, saved my life. It's that simple, really. Yeah.
That's quite profound, considering that our addictions, our behaviors, whatever that may be, and I'm talking about the ones that hold us back, they all stem from a particular belief system. And as you say, when you change that, that will naturally change the behavior pattern.
Yeah.
So tell me, in that short time just after your recovery now, where you're feeling strong, you're feeling Hamish again, what was the best part of that for you, that time?
Which time? In rehab or post rehab?
No, when you've just left rehab.
When I just left rehab, it was incredibly scary, because you leave rehab and they go, right, off you go. Don't drink, don't hang out with your mates who you used to drink with, don't go to pubs, people, places and things. And when you've been using, your life revolves around the people you go and get high with or drink with, going to clubs and bars and drinking, and buying it. So basically everything had to change, and that was really frightening, but it was also really empowering, because I felt I had no skin left. I felt every single mask and piece of armor and protection had gone, so I felt so vulnerable, and I felt I could breathe. It was also tremendously exciting, because it was like, what happens now? I was very fortunate. I moved in with a house with a guy who was also in recovery, and that helped for a long time. And then things changed. But I went to AA meetings, I went to NA meetings, I did all the right things, got a sponsor. And I've evolved, that's not the right word. I've moved on from that, because I don't like everything the way they do things. They keep you alive, absolutely, but they don't, to my mind, they keep you there. And I wanted to do that, and I have done that. But I was given a second chance. And alcohol, AA helped me with that, NA helped me with that, and people helped me, and community helped, and being a part of group with other people rather than isolating help. So it was a transition from being by myself to making new friends and things like that really helped, really helped. And being determined not to drink again.
Yeah. And through all of these transitions and growing and developing, as you said, in the way that you needed to, you have now, the journey that you're in, decided to help and support others who are where you were. Can you tell us a little bit about what you are sharing and how you are helping others who are struggling? Is it only with alcohol addiction, or is it with any addiction?
Thank you. No, it's basically from my journey. The alcohol, the drugs, the eating, the gambling, they're a tool, they're a crutch. And what I'm now doing is I'm creating a program and a community to help people who have left rehabs or have cleaned themselves up or are in detox centers or in halfway homes and things like that, where people basically are starting afresh. They clean themselves up and they are starting again, like me, leaving the rehab. So I'm creating a program to help people to go, it's okay out there. If you feel vulnerable, here's some steps to help you not relapse. Here's some steps to help you realize it was your choices that made you drink, that made you use drugs, that made you treat people badly. And that's in your past. Now you've got to change. So basically it's a program to help people realize that they can move on. It's hard. They've got to make that decision. You can't turn up and just go, yeah, whatever. You have to decide to make that effort. And then it's just a hard process. Every day, not drinking, looking after yourself, eating healthily and things like that. So it's a program to start there, and it will evolve. There'll be a community and things like that where you can share and talk, tell stories and things like that. That's what I'm doing, and I've been putting that together for the last 6 months. Yeah.
So when you say program, I presume you mean it's online?
Yes. Okay, it's going to be a series of webinars and an online program that will last about 10 to 12 weeks. And then from there will be the opportunity to stay in a community on Facebook or a private community where you have that anonymity. And then these will be run as and when, basically. It's that kind of thing. We'll be able to dive deeper and learn a bit more and help each other. But it's all about encouraging and growing and realizing that it's okay to change, and it's worth it.
I love that positive solution-based, moving forward-based approach that you're taking the traditional recovery programs to the next level. That's what it sounds like to me. So where can people find out a little bit more or enroll for this?
Well, the website is coming alive as we speak. So it's just addictionfree.life. That's the URL, addictionfree.life. There's some questionnaires on there, so there's some things to do. There's a few blog posts. As I said, it's all very new, but it's all coming together. And the programs will start in September, October this year, unless the universe says, hey, you've got to wait a bit longer. But that's my plan. My plan is to get this out there in October, November time. And the Facebook page will be live before then, so there's a chance to meet each other, to chat, to say, hey, I'm going to need help and things like that. So it's all coming online now. The next few months, it will be really, really exciting times.
That's wonderful, Hamish, and I'm so pleased that we're able to share it here on TLC, such needed type of support that you're offering. So in closing, what encouraging words of wisdom can you share with those who are struggling right now with addiction?
No, that's an interesting one. Own it. I think own it. Admit that you're not doing very well. Admit that there is room for improvement, and be kind to yourself. Because I was beating myself up every day, but be kind to yourself and just saying, I can do a little bit better tomorrow. I'll do a little bit better today, because you're worth it. You really are. I mean, that advert, you're worth it. You are. You really are. And it's just a case of believing in yourself just a little bit more each day. I think that's the kind of thing. And there is hope. There is absolutely hope for everybody.
There always is, indeed. What lovely words to end with. And thank you, Hamish, so much for taking time to share this very moving story with us. I know that many people will be touched by it. And if they want to get in touch with you via email, do you have an email address that you're willing to share?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's hamish@addictionfree.live.
Hamish@addictionfree.live, and then of course the website addictionfree.live. Hamish, may you be blessed with the work that you're doing and with that program that you're launching in September. Be well.
Thank you ever so much. Really, really appreciate it. It's lovely to share my story with you today.